5 ways you can boost your testosterone levels by 200% with sleep. What's going on? Alex here, and let's get into the video. So, I used to have a lot of issues with sleep. I would follow all the best advice when I got certified in personal training and nutrition. I religiously watched YouTube videos and I got educated that way, and I knew a lot of things. I had an amazing physique. I could drop fat, build muscle, all that good stuff. But I still had issues with testosterone, had issues with sleep, stress, all that stuff. So that got me into a path of optimizing my testosterone levels. And one of the issues that I was having is sleep. Some of the reasons that you're having issues with sleep is you're not eating enough, you have low testosterone, you have thyroid issues, you have high cortisol, all that stuff. You have issues with stress. So what you need to do is really optimize these things so you can sleep better, have better recovery, have higher testosterone, and you create this positive feedback loop that just compounds and gets better and better. So you need to focus on the principles. So for you to have high testosterone levels, you need to have the 4-step method, which is the NTLS method: nutrition, training, lifestyle, and supplementation. But did you know there's 10,000 possible different combinations to a 4-digit lock? So I'm going to give you exactly how you can do it, and you don't have to spend the next 7 years and 6 figures on education to find how you can accomplish it. So that being said, let's get into the methods. So like I mentioned before, I had issues with sleep. It was hard for me to fall asleep. And if I did fall asleep, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would be uncomfortable, stressed out. And then if I woke up, I was tired, groggy, and just not recovered, even though I was sleeping 10, 11, 12 hours a night. So the principle, like I mentioned, is the NTLS method. So I started digging and here are the 5 main things that helped me improve my sleep. So if you didn't know before, men who sleep 8 hours per night have 200% more testosterone levels than men who only sleep 4 hours per night. So sleep is hugely important in regards to your testosterone production, because during your REM sleep, during the deep sleep in your latex cells, that's where you produce testosterone. So during your sleep, you recover, you build muscle, you burn fat, you create hormones, and so on. So wouldn't that make sense that sleep is hugely energy dependent? A lot of individuals think, oh, when I sleep, I don't burn calories or whatever. I'm going to disagree with that, because when you sleep, there's a lot of things happening. It's really energy dependent. So my first point is, don't eat in a caloric deficit. Unless you're obese or you want to get shredded. If you want to get shredded, that's a different goal. That's not a high testosterone goal. If you want to get shredded, that's not healthy, and I do not recommend it. But if you're obese and you want to get on a caloric deficit, this shouldn't be an issue. This is for the individuals who, don't track their calories, they don't know what they're eating, and they're just under eating because they have life stressors, they're drinking a lot of caffeine and stimulants, they're playing games, whatever it is, they're busy, and they're just not eating, and they're just in a caloric deficit. So the number one thing you have to do is eat more calories, track your calories, be in a caloric maintenance, be in a caloric surplus if you're an alpha male. That's a joke, but if you're a strong individual, you have a purpose, and you want to build muscle, if you're not growing, you're dying. So be in a caloric surplus, you're training 3 times a week, so on and so forth. So stop eating in a caloric deficit. So what is a caloric deficit? So understand nutrition. There's 9 calories per 1 gram of fat. So if you eat a steak and there's fat on it, and you cut it off and you weigh it and you weigh out 1 gram, there's 9 calories in that piece of fat. The same fat that you have in your body, and fat is stored when you're in a caloric surplus. So for you to burn these calories, you need to be in a caloric deficit. And when you're in a caloric deficit, things become compromised. Your body stops producing luxurious hormones like testosterone, energy, drive, motivation, because all it cares is to keep you alive. If you're in a caloric deficit for a day or 2, nothing will happen. But if you're in a caloric deficit for weeks on end, your body's not stupid. It's going to keep you alive. So what it's going to do is downregulate your drive, your motivation. You're going to become more lazy, so on and so forth. So you need to stop being in a caloric deficit. The number 2, using intelligent supplementation like magnesium to aid with your sleep. So magnesium is an electrolyte and it has a bunch of different things that it does to your body. And the main thing is it's an electrolyte, so it hydrates you, it relaxes your nervous system, it improves free testosterone levels, so on and so forth. It boosts testosterone levels. It's an amazing mineral. Other things that people like to use to improve sleep is things like ashwagandha or melatonin. The reason why I don't use these things is because when you use melatonin, you're going to have more blood concentration levels during the day, which will make you feel drowsy, demotivated, and so on. This is just a patch. You need to fix your own melatonin level. So how you would do that is by having more sunlight during the day. Have you ever been on a holiday and you're just out in the sun, and then when you go inside into the dark and have a meal, you just want to sleep, and you have the best sleep, the best nap of your life? The reason behind that is when you get a spike in vitamin D, the opposite of that would be melatonin. So if you want to improve your melatonin levels, have more sunlight during the day. Then the next thing is people like to use adaptogenic herbs. And what are they? Like ashwagandha, so on and so forth. So adaptogenic herbs bring your body to homeostasis in times of stress. But the problem with that is you're putting a bandage over an issue. So you're super stressed out. You take this herb and you feel okay. But the issue with this is it's the equivalent of cycling a bike with the additional wheels. Yeah, it's great when you have the wheels on and you get used to it. When you take off the wheels, now you can't cycle by yourself. You constantly need that aid. That's the same thing with ashwagandha. When you keep using ashwagandha, your body doesn't know how to handle stress. This will lead to anxiety and more stress. So you need to fix the stress, the root issue. The number 3 is eating enough before you go to sleep. So one of the things I mentioned is you're waking up in the middle of the night. So we already covered the things you should do to fall asleep better. So eating more, using magnesium. So that's going to help you fall asleep and have deep sleep. But let's say you're waking up in the middle of the night. So you need to eat more before you go to sleep. The reason behind that is when you're sleeping and you wake up in the middle of the night, the reason behind that is because your liver glycogen stores are depleted, and your body initiates a stress response to deplete your muscle glycogen to fuel your liver, so you can fuel your liver because it's important. So that's the reason why you wake up. So you need to eat fruit, things like kiwis. Kiwis have been shown to boost testosterone levels and help you sleep. They contain glycine. And if you're still having issues with falling asleep, waking up in the middle of the night, another thing I've done with my client is he had issues with falling asleep. We tried all the tactics we talked about, but one thing we tried at the end was fasting. Do a 48-hour fast. And he noticed, let's say he was waking up 3 times a night. We done a 48-hour fast and it went to 2. We done another one, it went to 1. We done another one, and now he's sleeping better. The reason behind that is because his insulin sensitivity has improved. His sensitivity overall has improved. It's just like a reset button. So fasting is important if you know what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend fasting if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, number 4 would be gut health. So that's another thing that will cause issues of you waking up in the middle of the night. If you watch till the end of this video, I'm going to share with you how my client, who's worked with a lot of doctors, what he used. He worked with doctors for about a couple of years, couldn't solve it. Worked with me for 2 weeks and I solved this issue with sleep. So I'm going to show you the testimonial at the end and what we done. So gut health. Gut health is crucially important because if you have gut issues, you have issues with digesting food. Then when you go to sleep, your body's not digesting properly, it causes stress, so on and so forth. So you need to improve your gut health. The number 5 is body fat percentage. If you're over 15% body fat percent, you need to fix that because too much body fat contains an aromatase enzyme which converts your hard-earned testosterone into estrogen. And that's going to cause more stressors, more issues. So you need to fix it. So get on a diet, a proper plan to hormonally fix yourself and drop the fat, and you'll be golden. So like I mentioned, here's the testimonial of my client who had these issues. And what we've done is really double down on nutrition. I fixed his nutrition protocol. I optimized his macronutrients, his caloric intake, eating the right foods, removing the wrong foods, and really optimizing an amazing meal plan combined with proper training, lifestyle, and supplementation. So Andy he's a boxer, amateur boxer, and this was important for him. So we got it fixed, and that's what we done. So hopefully you got some value out of this video, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.